Beautiful people, welcome back to another video. For those new here, my name is Pete. Some call me Pilot Pete. I'm a Boeing 767 pilot, and today starts a 5-day trip. Well, technically it started yesterday with the deadhead to Newark, which, as you may be able to tell by the airport chart that I conveniently sell on my website behind me, I'm actually located here in the New York area, so pretty much a free day paid to be at home. But today's the actual flying, so we're gonna dive into that actual trip, where I'm flying to, the amount of layovers I have, how long I'm actually blocking versus how much I'm crediting, aka how much I'm physically flying the plane versus how much I'm getting paid to go on this trip. Also, we'll dive into my monthly schedule, what I was awarded in my bid, how many trips I dropped, picked up, kind of how I manipulated my schedule to frankly just not work the days I don't want to work. And it's currently 9:07 a.m. I have a 4:15 report at Newark Airport, so we're gonna get a run in here in New York City, have some breakfast, meet with my buddy for a leg workout at our favorite gym, Equinox, here in the city. And then we'll get ready and head to the airport. So without further ado, if you want to come along for the ride, let's go do it. So month of April, this was what I was awarded. I believe the credit hours was 74 credit hours. It was this trip to start the month, which is the one I'm currently on. Blue means front end deadhead. So it was a front end deadhead to Newark. Beautiful. I'll dive into that trip here in just a second. Then it was the weekend off, followed by a Memphis departure to PTY, Panama City, Panama. Nice little layover, like 26 hours before flying back at night to Panama. Couple days off, a Detroit layover, couple days off, followed by a Memphis departure to Indy with a back end deadhead, back to Memphis to do another short trip layover in Philly. Then kind of a day here off, which would do me no good as a commuter. And then a front end deadhead to San Jose, Costa Rica, which is a trip I was really looking for, followed by an entire week off. So that's what I was awarded, but I said, you know what? This doesn't work with what I'm trying to accomplish this month. So this is what I ended up doing once the manipulation of our schedules, aka drop, trade, swap, all that stuff happened. This is what it turned into. Boom, there you go. I only kept 2 trips, uno and dos. I like this trip. Like I said, we got Newark, front end deadhead, long layover in LAX. Like I said, I'll get into that here in a second. And then it ends in Memphis on Friday. Weekend off. I took this whole week off for now, followed by a full week off. Front end deadhead to San Jose. The company allows you to go 3 days early and pay for your hotel. So me and SJ are planning on heading down to Costa Rica. Pura vida. I loved it so much when I was there 2 months ago. I said, why not go back, check out a different part of the country? So we're gonna make a little vacation out of it. And then Easter Sunday, I wake up and fly to Memphis, and then the trip will end there. So that's kind of how my schedule looks. Obviously, I'm not gonna get paid much if I keep it as is, but right now I'm prioritizing my quality of life over my pay, because I know that, I know what my bills cost, and I know how much I have to work in order to pay for this shoebox apartment in Manhattan, pay for Sonia's dinners and all that good stuff, and able to live a comfortable life. Right now, this is kind of the bare minimum that I can do. But, a good trip pops up here, trip here, you never know what will pick up. But this is what my April schedule looks like. One of my favorite parts about where I work is the ability to manipulate your schedule in this sense. And if you don't want to work, aka also not get paid, you don't have to. So look at that. You want to take time off. People are always asking me about work-life balance. Tell me you couldn't have a nice work-life balance if you worked for, I'm going to be working 1, 2, 3 days at another layover in Newark, off. This will be vacation pretty much, 1 leg to Memphis, a whole week off, not too shabby. Now here's a look at that specific trip that I'm currently on. As I mentioned, it starts with a deadhead from my base in Memphis, connection through Chicago to Newark. I get paid 100% for this deadhead as if I was actually flying the airplane, but I deviated, canceled that airline ticket. The amount for that ticket was $413, as you can see here on the bottom. I bank that, it goes into my travel bank, and then today I have a 4 p.m. or 4:15 p.m. showtime in Newark to do the Transcon Newark to LAX. A nice 5 hours and 55-minute flight, but I'm rewarded with a 34-hour layover in LAX. So that's nice. I got some friends there. We're gonna enjoy our LAX layover and then bright and early, but it won't be too bad since I'm gonna do my best at East Coast time. We have 2 legs, which kind of stinks. The fact that we're doing pretty much a transcon with a layover kind of stinks. So it's LAX to Indianapolis with a 3.5-hour layover. They got sleep rooms there. I got a workout area, so I'll definitely take advantage of that. Maybe grab some food, and then we operate Indy to Newark and get done. So this is definitely a long day. Short layover in Newark, only 11.5 hours, so highly doubtful that I will go home. Still undetermined, so stay tuned for that. The trip ends with a morning departure, Newark to Memphis, to close out the trip. As far as hours go, block 14.5 hours of actual flight time. I'm paid for 24.5 hours, and that's 2 reasons that's more than that number. One is the deadhead. To start the trip, you're paid 100% for the deadhead, so that's one of the reasons. And then 2 would be the fact that the layover in LAX, I mean, we have over 24 hours, so you're paid for that day that you're laying over. People ask me that all the time. If you have a long layover, are you paid? Abso-freaking-lutely. Your pilots wouldn't want long layovers. As much as I enjoy them, I do really want to make sure I'm getting paid while I'm away from home. And then the travel bank money I already talked about, that was $413 that I banked into my travel bank I can use for future travel. So overall, not too shabby of a trip, especially for me as someone who lives here. Like I said, I got all day paid yesterday to commute to Newark, but already here. And then 1 leg to LAX later today. It's a long flight. I literally did the exact same flight last week. If you watched last week's vlog, you know I did that crazy 40 minutes on the ground in LAX to red eye back. Luckily, I don't have that dilemma this time around. I have to stay there, so I have 36 hours, 34, 32, I guess, technically looking at the schedule here, to lay over in LAX. But I said I got some friends there. Hopefully they have some free time. Breakfast, go for a run, hit a workout, get ready. I'm always rushing. The goal is not to rush. We're trying to get this stuff done ahead of time so that we're at the airport. Last time it took me like an hour and a half because of traffic to get to Newark. So we're planning an hour this time. An hour and a half is insane. Right now it says 33 minutes, but we're planning an hour. So yeah, if you wanna come along, let's go do it. All right, folks, we got 4 miles with strides and sprinting after our workout today. So I've mentioned before, I'm running for the Pat Tillman Foundation for Chicago Marathon. The goal is sub 3:30. Nervous, but we're a week and a half into the training program. Feeling good, stretching, running. Sonia's joining me on about half of the run, so it's always nice to run with a partner. If you haven't, I'd really appreciate even $1, $5 to the link in the description below for the Pat Tillman Foundation. Help me raise money for that great charity so I can run the Chicago Marathon. It'd mean a lot, but 4 miles, let's go do it. To finish off the leg workout, Paul and I are doing the worst machine in the world, the assault bike, 25 cals each. Paul's ripping it, I'm up next. Currently on our way to Newark, and what do you know, folks? Gonna be over an hour and 15 minutes again. I left my apartment at 3:10, gave myself an hour and 5, and the time on the Uber ETA just keeps going up and up. It's ridiculous, but I digress. We'll get there and then we'll fly to LAX. Flight plan just came up, so I'll take a look. There's our route, Newark to LAX. As you can see, long flight. It's blocked at just under 6 hours. Smooth sailing out of here, although it's pretty windy in the New York area, so it's gonna be a little bit bumpy on departure. Then it smooths out, and then we're gonna have to deal with this weather over the Dakotas, which is definitely gonna cause probably a little bit of turbulence, nothing too bad on the forecast. And then the Angel arrival into LAX, which is the exact same one that I did last week. I can come over here and actually check the turbulence chart for those who care. And there you can see, pretty smooth ride. They filed us just above it, but this isn't very scientific. There's that weather that's causing a little bit of bumps, like I said, near the Dakotas. And then
Phoenix and all that area is dealing with some moderate and severe based on this chart, but we should be pretty good. By the time we're flying, we'll probably deal with a little bit, but like I always mention, it's usually not a big deal for us. And then those coming over the ocean, you're going to deal with some, it looks like, around the California coast. 6 hours en route.
Beautiful people from the ramp in Newark, New Jersey. Just pre-flighted Maddox Ace, this beautiful 767 for our 6-hour en route nonstop service to LAX, Los Angeles, California. I swear, the hardest part of the job is the frickin' NYC traffic, just getting to the frickin' airplane. Almost an hour and a half to get here, but we're here, we made it, we're on time, fully loaded. Haven't met up with the captain yet, so he's in the flight deck already, setting his things up. I just threw my safety vest on because safety is sexy, and then I wanted to get the pre-flight out of the way. So I'm not sure whose leg it'll be. Probably his. This is the first one, as is normal tradition, but you never know. If he gives me the choice, I'll probably take it because I haven't flown in a couple days, it feels like, since that last trip was just a back-end deadhead and one leg, so the captain took that one. But it should be a smooth ride for the most part. Windy out of here. They're departing. Let's see if you can see any planes coming into land. I just saw a bunch while I was pre-flighting. Well, there's one taking off. I don't know if you can see it. Either way, they're taking off and landing on the 4, so that means it's a quick taxi for us. We'll literally get pushed back, taxi right there, right where that 757 is, behind him or her, and blast off. So should be a good day to go have a good day. Let's go have a day. Safely landed in LA, ended up being the captain's leg. He actually didn't taken off this trip. So he only had one flight, and then he has a deadhead home tomorrow. And the reason being, I'll explain a little bit right now, is he had a conflict with his 10 and 1. Long story short, there's only a certain amount of days you can work consecutively without having like a 24-hour rest. And his last trip got extended, it got revised because of maintenance, and the only way he was going to be legal is if he used his day off as our layover, because our layover is over 24 hours, so they can legally put you to rest. But my company has in the contract that the pilot has to agree to it. He hadn't been home in, 10 days, something like that, so he denied that, which I don't blame him for. So really nice guy, but we're only going to fly one leg. He's at a different hotel, and then he deadheads back to his home tomorrow. So I'll get paired with a new captain some way, somehow. Reserve, an Oakland-based person might come down and fly. So TBD. Good flight, long, 6 hours and 5 minutes was the block. We started cruising at 30,000 feet, and then the winds were really, really strong headwinds. ATC descended us to 28 for the rides because it was pretty bumpy over that like Dakota, Chicago area there, like I showed you on the drive in, and then it got really bumpy over Denver area, which it normally does. They were doing holding. You could hear aircraft starting to hold going to Denver for storms and normal spring Denver weather, I guess. Then we ended up climbing up to 36,000 feet, which made it smooth, but it also made it even more headwinds. We had like 50 knot headwind slowing us down, and then all the way up to 122 knots I saw for a headwind at 36,000 feet. But Angel for arrival, pass over Vegas, and then you see the city of LA kind of appear from the deserts and the mountains of Palm Springs. Always a beautiful approach. Captain landed 25 left, taxi to our gate. Pretty much the exact same flight I did last week, but this time, instead of having 40 minutes on the ground, I'll have about 33 hours on the ground in LA. So per usual, I'm gonna try to keep it East Coast time. It's, let's see what time it is. It is 11:45 my time, so it's 8:45 local. So I'm gonna go to bed. King bed. Funny though, I checked into this hotel. I've been here, I don't know, a dozen times in my career, but you know, haven't been here in probably 6 or 7 months. But the front desk person recognized me. Hey, my favorite pilot. So we chatted a little bit. It's always nice to be greeted with a smile. Asked him for a king bed. Didn't have to even change it because we got one. Bedtime. We're gonna wake up early. Good morning, beautiful people. Los Angeles, California. Currently 7:08 a.m. local. Starting the day off with a nice 4-mile little warm-up jog run. And then we'll head to my favorite place in Delray called Beehive. Pretty good breakfast spot. So 4 miles and then we'll head to the gym, soak up the sun. It's never sunny when I'm here, so I'm glad that today it is. Be a nice change of pace. Take advantage of that and have ourselves a little day. We made it to the end of the Pier Venice Boardwalk. Under a mile, so not very impressive, but definitely a different view than I'm used to in NYC. Got some surfers out there, sunrise. Hard to beat, folks. Hard to beat. All right, beautiful run to start the day. 4 miles in the books, and then breakfast at the Hive. Can't beat it, cannot beat it. Breakfast was a success. The Hive in Marina Del Rey. Go check it out for breakfast. I always enjoy my meals there. Had a meeting, but now it's time to go to the gym because you already know it's non-negotiable. Chest day today. We're gonna head to Equinox, about 1.5 miles away. I already got my miles in, so I'm gonna try the public transportation here. It's usually hit or miss in LA. Not my favorite city because of that reason. I love public transportation. Paris, the greatest. New York, very good. LA, terrible. Definitely not a non-car friendly place. But we're headed to Equinox, then we're meeting up with a special guest for lunch is the plan. And then we'll come back, we'll work on more YouTube edits and get the ball rolling. I'm loving the weather, feeling good. Gotta soak up. Life is fragile, folks. You know, everyone has those bad days. Time for Pilot Pete rant, so hit the skip button if you don't want to hear it. Life is fragile, and I have my bad days. My girlfriend can attest to that. I have stress. I have anxieties and things that overwhelm me, but I'm trying my best to take deep breaths, enjoy the moment. And I'm always trying to search for that next thing, right? The next video content, the more YouTube, the more business opportunities, the more flights to pick up trips, the more money. It's like live in the now, because it's so short and it's so fragile, and it's such a wonderful life. Even if you're in that rut right now, which I know very well how that feels, you can come out of that. Work out, talk highly of yourself, and in no time you'll be in a better spot, I promise you. But enough ranting, gym time, let's go do it. All right, workout complete. One thing I like about the Equinox membership is it's got Earth Bar, so it's a smoothie place. So 54 grams of protein is what they say is in this post-workout shake. And then conveniently, I set up a lunch date at Tender Greens, which is right next door. So I got a buddy coming over in 15 minutes to link for lunch. I've actually never met him in person. He's a Instagram friend, loves aviation. I like his content. He's another creator as well. So we'll link up and just meet in person. He saw I was flying into LA. He's like, dude, let's grab lunch. I said, absolutely. So that's what we're doing. And then head back to my hotel, do some work, and then probably going to a different friend's place for dinner. She invited me over with her husband and her kid to do homemade pasta. So whenever I can eat a home cooked meal on the road, that's a total win, because as much as I love the good food, eating out, health, and then even more so the hit it takes on the wallet isn't the greatest. All right, just finished lunch at Tender Greens after the workout. Equinox, Met up with.
Aaron.
Tell people who you are and where they can find you.
Well, I'm just Sun Hat Kid.
Sun Hat Kid?
Yeah, and this is Pilot Pete.
Yes, sir.
You know, I find him very interesting because, you know, he's a pilot, and I'm a big pilot. I'm a big plane person.
Yes.
You know.
Aaron was telling me while we were having lunch, he's big into the aircraft accidents.
Oh, I love airplane crashes. Like I always sit in bed and watch airplane crashes because I always think a plane is going to go down. You know, and I think that it's cool to meet a pilot. I've always wanted to meet a pilot, legit accident.
Yeah.
Because because you have the capability of crashing a plane if you want to. You could. Legit.
The goal is not to
but you
do that,
have
though.
the capability. If you want to get on a plane on it, you can crash it. And that's why I find it interesting.
The point is obviously not to do that. So we
No,
train hard
no,
not to do
yes,
that.
you
Don't
don't
be
want
scaring the people thinking that's what's going to
I'm
happen.
just saying that you could.
All right, so we were supposed to go to dinner at a friend's spot, and she texted me her address. I looked it up at like 2 p.m. here in LA, and it said 25 minutes. So I said, perfect. So we did dinner at 6:30, and I was just getting ready to leave at around 6. And I looked at the traffic, an hour and 25 minutes to get there, and the Uber would have been $89. So I just called her and was like, hey, I screwed up. I mean, I knew there was traffic, rush hour, but I didn't think it was that ridiculous adding an hour. I guess it's just like New York, LA is. There's no buses or anything to get there, and I don't want to spend $180 round trip to go to and from dinner, so I'm gonna have to rain check that. And now I'm on the bus right near my hotel because the auto bowl is to, you know it, In and Out. We're gonna go perfect an In and Out order. All right, the order was made. Neapolitan milkshake, which is all 3 flavors, strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla. And regular fries, and then a 4x4 animal style cheeseburger. That's 4 patties for those counting. Animal style, all the dressings, and I added some hot peppers. Yum. This order actually was recommended to me by one of my followers, by someone that's a big supporter of mine, so you know who you are. Shout out to Tracy for recommending this. Bon appetit. All right, folks, we're walking back from Trader Joe's, but we don't want to walk, so Xavier's here, nice enough to give me a ride. How much are you gonna charge me to get to the library?
Yes, for free, bro.
Wow, that's my man right there. Let's go. Good morning, beautiful people. We're out here on the ramp, LAX. We're flying Malchachi today. I can't really pronounce that name well, so apologies if Malchachi's watching this. I butchered her name, but we're flying you today. First leg is to Indy. The tug's already hooked up, so this is what pushes the airplane back. Some people still think that there's a reverse button on airplanes like there is in cars. There is not. There's no reverse gear. So these big, giant tugs, golf cart looking things, I mean, it doesn't look like a golf cart, but you get the point. They'll hook up to the headset. They already got the tow bar hooked up. The headset's already hooked up. There's the wire for it. So they'll be able to talk to the flight deck via the controls, and then they will push us back. That pin is there so that we don't steer the nose wheel and snap this while we're getting pushed back. They'll disconnect that. Ground power's hooked up. That's how the airplane is actually being powered right now. Think like a big external generator, which is right over here. It saves fuel because it's electric, powering the airplane. It doesn't need to have any APU or engines running to get everything working inside. Like I said, just pre-flighted the big girl. 4 hours en route to Indianapolis. It's currently 5:33 a.m. Got to the airport early, but we didn't have a flight release. So currently the headquarters, Memphis, dealt with like tornadoes, gusting winds of like 55 miles per hour last night. So as you can imagine, the sort and all the planes got delayed. A lot of the flights were just canceled to go in there because at some point, obviously, it becomes unsafe to even fly. So luckily, our airplane came from Oakland, so she was already here when we got to the airplane. We were just waiting on a release, like I said, but we got it. We're all set. Captain's gonna take the first leg to Indy, and then we have about a 3-hour sit in Indianapolis. So no hotel. It has to be over 4 hours in order for the company to give us a paid-for hotel. But luckily, Indy has very nice like facilities and workout, sleep rooms, showers. So if you haven't seen that before, stay tuned. I'll give you a little sneak peek into our Air Ops Center there, and then I'll finish off the day with our one shorter leg, hour and 55 minutes. Will be the second one, Indy to Newark. So 4 hours first, dark, we'll be flying into the sun, we'll see some sunrise. Next stop is Indy. Let's do it.
All right, so here's our flight plan, taking us to Indy from LAX. As you can see, a lot of weather that passed all through Memphis last night is still kind of taking up a lot of the US right now, so we might have to deviate. Probably be above it though, most of it on our way to Indy, which is recording good right now. That's something that just happened. As you can see, for our filed flight plan, we were filed to fly the DOTS departure, which is just the instrument departure that ATC has us flying out of the airport. But when we got our clearance, they said, hey, load new route. You're flying via the South B1 now instead of the DOTS, and we had to load that approach. So ATC told us to fly the South B1. It's a little bit different. The only kind of gotcha on this departure is the first fix EWAC, max 230 knots. They don't want you flying too fast and below 3,000. Our FMS shows that exactly though. EWAC 230 knots max, below 3,000, climbing up to 5, and our LNAV and VNAV will take care of that. So 4 hours en route. Next stop is Indy.
So we're currently 10 minutes prior to departure. Anything more than 5 minutes, we need dispatch approval. So we just called for early release, and they're letting us go early. So we got, like I said, 10 minutes to go, but we'll push back here. Captain will call for the before start checklist. We'll run these checks, and then on our way. Greetings from the Indianapolis sleep room. Like I said before, this is like a newer version. If you haven't seen it before, here it is in all its glory. Single bed. We got to make our own sheets here in Indy. Memphis, they do it for us. Little chair. And they have this where I have no idea why. A little reading lamp, some outlets, our wake-up call, so a phone call if they need us. They know where we're at. A fan for some cooling white noise. 2 pillows all together. Not too shabby, free of charge. But it took like 20 minutes just to get in here because we just used our badge. And myself and the captain, we couldn't get in. So we had to have the very nice lady upstairs come down and let us in. But good flight overall, 4 hours. Pretty smooth skies, a little bit of bumps. There was all that weather I kind of showed you on the pre-flight. And then ironically enough, as soon as I told you guys we were doing the ATC change our departure, as soon as we pushed back from the gate, we're about to get ready to taxi, they change our departure again. So it happens. It has to do with air traffic flow, where they want the planes to go, how they want them to depart the actual terminal area. And then, like I said, bumpy over that kind of weather. Like, I guess the captain's from the Memphis area, so he said there was like 8 or 9 tornadoes in Arkansas, and the winds and rain, and they've been diverting flights because it's obviously unsafe to land and have too many planes on the ramp. So we're here in Indy. Like I said, only like 3 hours till showtime for the next flight. I got the crew van, so I'm actually gonna head out, grab some food downtown real quick, change out of this, and I'm pretty tired. I slept 6 hours according to my ring, but for whatever reason, I'm pretty tired. So maybe some fresh air will help. Not sure if I'll have time to hit a workout here, but you better believe we're gonna do something either here or when we get to Newark on the next leg. It'll be my leg, and it should be a sporty one because the winds last time I checked were like 25 knots in Newark, so that should be fun. But yeah, that's a nice little perk, is this sleep room. And then, like I said, we got this little crew van that they let us borrow if it's available. So I'm going to use it to get food because the catering on today's flight wasn't the worst, but not something I want to consider my my lunch meal on. So change out of the pilot uniform, kind of nice little relaxation thing for me. As I get out of the pilot uniform, I feel like I reset, kind of start another duty day, I guess, for lack of a better term. So let's go grab some food. Here's a quick look at our Air Ops Center. Like I said, it's pretty new, only like 2 years old now at this point. A lot of little murals, welcome to Indy, a little cafeteria area with nothing good to eat in it. It's like grab and go, candy and trash. Bridging the world, Indianapolis, that's how we do it. Memphis, Cologne, Indianapolis. Haven't been to Cologne yet. Have been to Indy, have been to Memphis, haven't been to Osaka, haven't been to Anchorage, have been to Paris. I'll hit those cities eventually though. Crew meeting areas, laptops for flight planning and stuff, usually where the crews meet. However, with everything being on the iPad now, we don't even really need to use them. And then our departure board and all our good stuff. Just like that, we're through security. There's our beautiful van. So I'll go grab a quick bite, something good, something healthy. Sweet green is what the answer's gonna be for that. And then depending on time, maybe a workout before we get back to work. Beautiful people, hello from the ramp in Indianapolis. We just pre-flighted Olivia for our non-stop second leg and final leg of the day. We're going Indy to Newark. It'll be my leg. Right now the weather's good. I don't know if you can tell from the video, but there are dark skies to the south coming this way. All that crazy weather that central USA had all day is making its way to the east and the northeast. Right now the winds in Newark and the weather, VFR day. Anticipated, supposed to get windy, supposed to get cloudy, supposed to get rainy. So we'll see how early we get out of here and what I gotta deal with for landings. It'll be my leg into Newark. They're landing the 2-2s, which is nice. We get to fly kind of right over the airport I learned to train at, Lincoln Park, November 07, Caldwell, and then Vectors don't usually bring us all the way up towards my parents' house, my childhood home, but I can kind of point out some of the landmarks. I always try waving to my mom and dad, but for whatever reason, you guys never wave back. But that's all right. So just under 2 hours, tailwinds, especially with this storm kind of frontal system pushing the airplane. We should probably get there in like an hour and 45. I'm ready to be done. I gotta admit, I always preach a healthy lifestyle, which for the most part I definitely abide by, but we haven't really moved the body much today, and I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. Went to Whole Foods, was craving chocolate, candy, whatever, so I got like this bag of s'mores, treats, said I'll only have 1 or 2, ended up finishing the whole bag. Oh well, sometimes it happens, folks. So the important thing is when that does happen, you don't let it kind of snowball into a you know, a normal pattern per se. So when we get to Newark, we're gonna lock in. We're gonna at least get 45 minutes out in the gym, treadmill, stretching, something to move our bodies to feel better, and we eat a healthy meal for dinner to make up for it. But Olivia's her name, like I said earlier, my leg, just under 2 hours. Let's go fly to Newark. So there's all that weather I was talking about. It's all south of the airport as we speak, but it's on its way to Indy. We should be getting out of here though before any of that hits. And then it is a total of 607 nautical miles to Newark. Be my leg. Next stop, Newark. Hello from Newark, New Jersey. We made it safe and sound. Did you expect anything less though with Pilot Pete at the helm? This is the worst part though. I mean, there's the air traffic control tower of Newark. You can't see, oh, kind of in the distance. There's Manhattan, my home. I can see as we were flying the approach to 22 left, I told the captain, I was like, see that gold building with the little thing on top? I live right next door to that. I can see it. I can see the building. We're so close yet so far. It's always a conundrum. It's like I want to go home. It's currently 6:49 local. Obviously, I'll get home before dinner, right on time for dinner. SJ, I'm sure, would cook me up a nice meal if I asked nicely. But I got a 6 a.m. show tomorrow. It's early wake up. It's just not worth it with the traffic, dragging the bag, New York City traffic. So it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. So tonight we're locking in sleep. We're gonna lock in a little workout, and it is what it is. So for a short flight, it was somewhat exciting. As we were pushing back and getting ready to taxi, I told you guys we were planning on departing runway 23 left, but that storm I told you that was kind of south of the airport. They ended up switching the runway around because the wind switched directions, and we ended up taxiing to runway 5 right. Not a big deal, but the procedure is you got to stop the jet, you got to run the performance numbers for a different runway. It started raining, so we had to get wet numbers for the runway traction, and then we had to switch the departure around because we were planning on blasting off this way. We ended up blasting out this way. Captain and I did a good job. We were number 2 for departure behind a company jet, and then this was kind of the interesting part. The MD-11 pulled up in front of us. They were cleared for takeoff. We actually had a departure time. So Newark and the air traffic control in New York area had a flow procedure. Flow procedure is basically, hey, we have so many planes coming in, we have to kind of stagger their arrival. So we had a certain window in which we were cleared to depart Indy. If we missed that window, then we'd have to get back in line, and who knows how long that would be. So we were holding short. Our time was up. We had a 5-minute window. The MD was cleared for takeoff, but they saw some weather just to the north of the airport on their weather radar once they turned onto the runway, and they said, hey, we don't want to depart into this weather. Again, this is old data now, but we don't want to depart into this weather. So air traffic control had planes landing. They had us behind them. They told that airplane, hey, taxi off, cancel takeoff clearance, taxi off Delta 9, and get back in line and basically clear the runway. So they let a little training airplane from Lift Academy land on 5 right, and then we were sitting holding short. Captain and I discussed kind of like, hey, we can't see anything out our window. Our weather radar's right in front of the airplane. It sweeps back and forth, and it paints all the precipitation and the bad weather in front of the airplanes. Well, if the nose is pointed this way, which it was, directly to the west, you can't see what's pointed that way. So air traffic control said, hey, Pilot Pete plane, are you ready for takeoff? We said yes, but we had the same plan as the MD. Once we turn to the runway, if we see stuff we don't like, we're not going to depart if it's not safe. So we had a contingency plan in place. We lined up on 5 right. We looked at the weather radar, we looked at each other, and I was comfortable, he was comfortable. We were cleared for takeoff just in time for our window slot, blasted off, and flew this departure. It was basically a heading departure. Once we got on with departure, they turned us right direct to Mario, because there was a little bit of weather kind of right around this area. But before we even got there, we made a right turn direct to Mario above 11,000 feet and on our way. Beautiful day to fly into New York as far as visibility goes. So I love seeing the Manhattan skyline out the left window. I get to see my home, even though, again, I say this all the time, but I live there. It's still amazing to see the city from that vantage point. Intercept the glide slope and localizer, which is the invisible beam that draws the airplane to the runway. Here's the chart that we use. We were given instruction of fly 170 knots to the intersection buzz, which is about 5 miles. You can actually count the miles. There's 4.7, there's 0.2 to the runway. So it's 4.5 miles from buzz to the pavement of the runway 22 left. So held the speed, configured right at buzz. Configured means I asked the captain to lower the landing gear, add some more flaps, and I started slowing the airplane down. And then we landed on runway 22 left. Gusty winds started to come in just as predicted. It wasn't too bad though. It ended up being like 8-9 crosswind component, and landed 22 left. The auto brakes were on 3. Auto brakes are just what they sound like. The airplane automatically brakes based on the setting that you have selected. So we have 1 through max. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5, 1 through 5 setting basically for landing. I ended up going with 3, so we'll call it like kind of medium braking. And then we exited at November intersection, and then the runway was cleared across. So air traffic control said, hey, immediately cross 22 right and go right into your gate, so it's easy peasy. Now for the landing grade. Runway 22 left, gusty winds a little bit, weather coming into Newark as you can see. Touchdown was pretty good, speed was on point. I didn't ask the captain, I probably should have. He probably would have given me a rating. 9.4, 9.4, book it. It was pretty nice, folks. You guys would have all clapped. I think, at least giving me a high five on the way out, right? At least, at the very minimum. Anyway, yeah, good flight, overall good. The only bummer is, like I said, I can smell the New York skyline, which isn't always the best thing to smell. Might be Newark. Newark's pretty stinky too. Anyway, we're here. We're gonna get a quick workout in because you already know, non-negotiable. Probably gonna skip the lift and just go for a run because I've been sitting in a tube all day. So I wanna move my body that way. And then for dinner, we're probably just gonna do the catering. Steak and chicken on a catered flight, I know. It's a little amount, but I also have some turkey, so we'll enjoy Newark for the little bit of time we're here. All right, so everyone who says they don't have enough time, they're too tired, look, I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning. I flew 4 hours to Indy. I got lunch. I flew 2 hours to Newark. It is currently 7:31 p.m. local. I am exhausted. I'm tired. Some would argue I don't have time, but guess what? We're getting it in because you already know it's not negotiable, folks. Even on the highway of Newark, we're getting it in. So you have the time. You just got to make it. You got to find a way. We're just going to do a few miles, 2, 3 at most, dinner and then bed. Move your body each and every day. Let's go. Good morning, bright and early, 6:17 a.m. Just know whatever airline you end up flying for, early mornings, late nights, all part of the deal. So, just looked outside. It's currently raining, dark, and not so pleasant in Newark. So the walk around won't be fun, but one last leg. I'll see you on the ramp here in a little bit. Good morning, beautiful people. We just pre-flighted the 767. It's actually the same one we took from Indy to Newark yesterday, so she hasn't moved. That means two good things for me. One, my foot pedals or my rudder pedals will be in the right position. They're adjustable, so when shorter, taller pilots sit in my seat, then I have to readjust them every time I fly. Two, the headset, cleaning that up, wiping down all the germs and stuff like that. It was just me. It just sat here overnight, so that's a good thing. Got planes getting ready to depart, runway 4 left. Here at Newark, you can see the tail of the 7-3 taxiing out, so another short taxi for us, which is great. There's the lineup right now of airplanes. 2 hours and 41 minutes. I got this block at to be the captain's leg, last leg of the trip. But we're throwing in a little curveball for you. When I land in Memphis, the flight and the trip is done. However, I just got a trip for next week that starts in Miami. So I called SJ yesterday and was like, hey, you wanna go to Miami for the weekend? Because it's supposed to rain here all weekend in New York. So we don't have any tickets booked, but it's my favorite part about being an airline pilot. Free flights, her flight's not free, but free flights for me can kind of change on a whim. I won't have clothes for Miami, but I got a buddy down there that I'm sure would hook me up with some laundry. And yeah, it's kind of like a kind of fun, sporadic thing. So stay tuned. If I end up back in New York in like 5 hours from now, or if when I land, I end up heading down to Miami. So TBD for 2 hours, 41 minutes. Like I said, last flying leg of the day. It's gonna be crowded in there. We got 3 jump seaters to Memphis, but that's all right. We're catered. I got my breakfast. I'm feeling good, feeling alive. Let's go get it done. Early morning out of Newark. Planes are already starting to line up. Hopefully they're cleared out by the time we're departing. Route of flight, a little bit of weather over New York, and then it clears up. We'll be south of that, as you can see, so we won't have to worry too much about deviating, hopefully. And right now Memphis is clear. I'm trying to avoid all that stuff coming in later this afternoon. All right, folks, we made it to Memphis, Tennessee. Nice flight. And now I'm heading into The passenger terminal just got dropped off on the crew bus because, like I mentioned in Newark, we decided we are going to go to Miami after all. SJ, I was able to hook her up with a buddy pass from a friend, so she's going to fly standby for like 30 bucks. LaGuardia direct to Miami in this afternoon. I have to connect. There's no direct flights from Miami at this time, so jump seating in to Atlanta and then Atlanta, Miami, fingers crossed. But yeah, it's all working out. It never ends. It never freaking ends. So first stop is Atlanta. Let's hope I get it. I got about 45 minutes till the flight, so no problem making it. It's more so if they have availability. As you can imagine, getting to Atlanta is usually a pretty packed flight, and it's a 7-3, not an Airbus, so only one jump seat, which kind of stinks, but we'll cross our fingers and hope for the best. All right, we checked in with the desk. They said we should be good on getting a seat to Atlanta, and then I'm having my buddies at work at the airlines that fly Atlanta to Miami at the loads right now to see if I'll be able to get on that flight. So I'm gonna change out of the, go incognito. I hate wearing the uniform when I'm not working. It's just not the most comfortable thing. Plus the stares you get, you know, it's not the best. So we're gonna change in incognito mode and make our way to Miami. I remembered why I don't like flying standby. It's awful, but we finally got on 4 flights it took me, but we're finally getting to Miami. Sonia's booking a different flight, so it might all finally work out. It took a long time. My guy JJ hooked it up, and we're finally going down to Miami, so let's go. We made it, folks. Long journey. Like I said, 0 for 3, and I got lucky on the last one to get a seat to Miami. So we just landed, made our way to my buddy's. He's actually been in vlogs before. He's a captain at a different airline based here in Miami on the 320. Nice enough to let me crash. So excited for the weekend. New York's supposed to be just miserable weather. So that's the perks. The perks of being a pilot is you can literally just say, you know what? I don't want to be here right now. Jump on a flight, free 99, and go wherever you want. So really looking forward to the weekend. The girlfriend's planning on jumping down here as well to spend some time together. But as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. So make sure you follow me first, pilotpete.fly. Hit me up below with anything you want to see on the next one. As always, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, be safe, fly safe, and I'll see you.